Holy crap, mobile platform cash cups are back. Never thought I'd be saying that in a video again, but here we are, and in this video I am putting you guys onto everything you need to know about the Reload Cash Cups, which will be the first money prize pool mobile tournament in about 2 years and in about 4 years for iOS players. Without further ado, let's get into the structure and format. Starting with structure. This cup will be 4 hours in total, which is a little crazy in my opinion, but I digress. Times differ per region and time zones, so for that information in specific, you'll need to check yourself through the Fortnite Compete tab in your mobile app. In my local time zone, the main tournament is at 7 to 9 p.m., finals 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. Hey, all I'm gonna say, prep a coffee, Monster Energy, Red Bull, get a meal to eat, something. Whatever you need to stay up, because that is crazy. At least it's not on a school night, I guess. For point format, the tournament seems to be very placement oriented. Kills are capped. First tournament like that in a while. It seems that you can get up to 3 points for eliminations, meaning whether you drop 12 kills or 40 kills, you get 3 points. In other words, if you want to qual, fighting a lot in later matches like higher elo may hurt more than help. Most players are going to be playing endgame. I'd recommend the same for you for most players, and assume games are going to that point of heal off, maybe, who knows. It'd probably be best to aim for 4 to 8 kills in matches after your first 1 or 2 games, as placement points add up to 15 and are especially top heavy. 9 points are given in the top 3. I assume whoever's the best at playing the very end of the game, like endgame, will prosper rather than crazy fighters. Maybe time to practice popping those medkits, popping those floppers, not taking a take a zone if you catch my drift. Now, Persham, how do I qualify for this tournament? It depends on what device. What device you're on depends on how you approach the cup. In my opinion, if you're on a high FPS device like a strong Android device, or for my newly added EU iOS players, a iPad Pro or one of the 120 FPS iPhones or something, play as many regions as possible. You have a large advantage over the playing field, especially on other regions, as most players will be 30 to 90 FPS whilst you are on frickin' 120. Even then, knowing how to play endgames is still likely to play and probably prospers over just going for a bunch of kills, as there is no point in heavily keying the later games as kill points are meaningless, unless, I guess you want to create the dead game, quote unquote, yourself. If so, you're him. Guess you're Peterbot or something, shout out to you. If you're on lower FPS, especially on Android, if you know you know, I would recommend playing any of the cups except for Middle East and EU. These cups will probably have the most EU iOS players, as they are both at manageable times for them to play and are the lowest possible ping experiences for them. This means your games will be a little sweatier, as iOS players tend to be on higher FPS, which makes them faster in fights and such for the most part. Now, for where to drop also changes if you are on Android. I'd recommend landing at a drop other than the 2 most populated ones, Tilted and Pleasant mainly. These are going to have the best players, especially in your harder games, who you do not want to fight. Landing away from these areas at Soccer Field, Hotel, or even Lonely and Snooty may be a better move. While you could still get keyed, it will be harder position-wise for the Pleasant and Tilted teams, giving you more time to loot up and focus on the endgame, which is what is important. So, more or less, if you're Android, stay humble, play the regions that will be best opportune to you, and do not try to be Booga, do not try to be Peterbot, be your own you. As a quick minor note for eligibility, it is also important to note out that if you are on iOS, you will only be allowed to play if you reside in the European Union. If you are one of those people, and I commend you if you are, that actually went the ways of jailbreaking your device and doing what is needed in NA to get the iOS on your device, Fortnite Mobile on your device, highest respect to you, but unfortunately you will not be able to play and earn in this tournament. We will catch you in the next one, maybe. Now, a question a few of y'all may be asking: how does one practice for this Fortnite Mobile Reload Cup? And the most easy to apply practice I can think of is simply playing reload duos. Though these probably won't have stacked endgames and may even teeter towards a little dead, it is still important to get used to the loot pool and possible items you can play with and use to rotate in reload, as they definitely differ from the main game. If I were you, just in case, I'd try to get comfortable with anything, literally all of the guns, as you literally never know how RNG could treat you or your opponent in game, so just know how to fight stuff. And if there is an end game, do everything you can to win it, see what it takes to even win a minor level end game, as that is going to be, as I've said like 5 times before, the most important part of the cups. Now, if you want a really authentic experience, there are 2 things you can do to fight true mobile players. A, you could try to 1v1 these players, maybe 1v1 some Android, iOS guys in a 1v1 map using the weapons of reload. This may be harder to set up, like imagine they just want to use the normal weapons, I don't know. But of course it is an option, as that is the most easy and direct way to get mobile only competition. Or you could play in what we plan to host as mobile only scrims. The GOAT of iOS info, the Fabriazzo Romano or whatever his name is, the here we go guy of mobile, and pro in the Android scene, Vestaleaks has you covered. He recently has been working on a Fortnite mobile reload only scrim server, where scrims are planned to be hosted for practice in this reload cup, with only mobile players allowed, iOS and Android allowed. As in mobile tournament lobbies, this will be especially necessary to know how to fight them. This tourney will be like none other, to say the least, so join if you can. I definitely feel like it's worth to practice in these for everyone, regardless of skill, just to get a taste of what it is like to be in a mobile only lobby, mobile only competition. Ideally, it can also find hosts for every region, so every region has an opportunity to practice. So if you are a person with a creator code on another region that we don't have a host for, let us know, let Vestaleaks know, he will give you that host role. I'll leave the link in the description, so big shout out to Vestaleaks for doing this once again, and go check it out. And with that, that is all I got. I'm looking forward to seeing the fellow mobiles on the battlefield in this cup. It should be fun. And if you have any further comments or questions, drop them below in the comments, and I will try to answer them to the best of my ability, as I may have not answered everything in this video alone. That being said, P out, peace.